What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Big 12 Team Builder Dynasty. This is a Sunday episode. This is a jam-packed episode. I just couldn't get it out on Saturday. Couldn't get it done on Saturday. It's 45 minutes long, guys. This is a monster video. And what you guys are about to witness today is the entirety of the regular season of Year 8. So we're going to solve who is going to be in the Big 12 championship game. We're going to preview that game. And I'm sure everybody's brackets are busted right now, including my own, to the point at which, hey, what else you got to do? What else you got to do except watch a 45-minute video on the Big 12 Team Builder Dynasty, right? Exactly correct. All right, let's get into the matchup here. We've got a matchup here between ACU and Shreveport, two teams in the Eastern Division, and take a look at this play. One of the very first plays for ACU, just a bomb and Traquel Quick able to somehow corral this thing as off the tip drill and get a reception here to move the chains for ACU. However, they can't back that up by getting up on the board with a touchdown. They can't capitalize that drive off with a score other than a field goal. So they're going to have to settle for 3 up on Shreveport, 3-0. Shreveport has been a very good team in the last maybe 3 seasons, and it's primarily due to their running game and primarily due to their defense. This has been a very solid Big 12 team. However, ACU is kind of on the ascendance now with Jeff Henderson and a new quarterback, Jamie Beckham, because he's been making throws like this. Big time touchdown to Lucas Rivers. That's going to put ACU back up on top. He's only missed 1 throw today in rainy Shreveport, rainy Louisiana. Jamie Beckham, though, watch this. He's got moves. He's got legs. He's got speed. He's going to go all the way in for a touchdown. This is something that's been missing from ACU's offense ever since Orpheus McConnell left the program for the pros. They have not had a running quarterback outside of Orpheus McConnell. Everybody else has been kind of that pocket passer type of prototype as a quarterback. So interesting to see Jamie Beckham's got a little bit of moves going on here. But Shreveport and Shotgun Smith, they can't get a touchdown back, so it's 17-6, and then Beckham is bombing it deep once again, and Shreveport's defense is getting burned over the top. Traquel Quick has already made a pretty impressive grab on that tip drill. Then he gets a touchdown here. It is 24-6 at the half. This is a ACU team that's really come to play. They are showing out. They want this division. They want the Eastern Division. Ardmore has been dethroned pretty much. This is not a very good Ardmore team this season. It's a rebuilding, retooling year. And ACU, they see blood. They smell blood in the water, man. They are ready to fight for that top dog spot. But Shreveport, as you guys know, they have been hanging on there in the Eastern Division, and you know, this is a game that you need if you're Shreveport. It's a game you absolutely need. David Brown, 13-yard touchdown off the screen pass. What? Yeah, off the running back screen, he gets a touchdown. They get 7 back. Oh! Interception! Shreveport, they're crawling back. They're crawling back. This is a very difficult place to beat Shreveport. Whenever they play at home, very difficult to beat them. They are one of the top dogs in the entire NCAA when it comes to playing at home. And Shotgun Smith lowers the shoulder. The quarterback lowers the shoulder and gets past the 1-yard line monster. And Dakari Holychild can't make the tackle. 3rd and 20. After Brandon Bell makes a nice play in the backfield. Shreveport, again, charging. 24-20 right now, but LR Rush going to make a nice defensive play on Shotgun Smith, and that's going to push them into the backfield. Can't get the first down. They will get the field goal. 24-23, running back Dexter Roach Tolliver can't get the first down as 4th and 1, and ACU is going for it here. Gutsy play call, and Jamie Beckham picks up the first down for 12. That's going to keep the chains moving and keep the clock running. 3rd down and 8. Pass going to be completed. How did he do that? How did he do that? He got the pass off, and then Dexter Roach Tolliver hurdles over a guy, picks up the first down. Jamie Beckham with the moves, gets into the end zone untouched. ACU gets a touchdown there. 2 minutes to go. Shreveport going to throw it to the left side of the field. Chad Culp with the toe drag swag. 3rd down and goal. Shreveport absolutely needs this. They will pick up a lot of yards there. They're inside the 5, but 4th down and goal. You got to make a play here. You got a touchdown. You need it. You need it. You need it. You needed a touchdown, and Shotgun Smith can't even get a throw off. And ACU will be victorious in this matchup on the road through the mud and the muck. They get a win. A very, very big time win for this team late in year number 8. As you guys know, we are in week 10, so the weeks are coming down to the wire here. The games are coming down to the wire, each game with a little bit more importance. That's a big win for ACU. Unfortunately for Shreveport, they just can't break through that glass ceiling, man. They've made it to 2 Sugar Bowls. They just have not been able to get to the Big 12 championship game, and right now ACU's in the driver's seat with a 4-1 record. Shreveport now 2-2. They're going to need some help against ACU a little bit later on in the rest of the season, the weeks that we have left. Little Rock beats Uba in blowout fashion, a 42-point margin of victory. Well, Quinton Evans was, again, he's a sim god monster. He's a sim god monster. Whenever we get him in gameplay, his numbers like take a nosedive. But every time in simulation, he's just a god. I've been saying it to the guys in Discord that, daily reminder, Quinton Evans sucks. But in sim, he's insane. He's absolutely insane. So Little Rock, again, gets a nice win over Uba. They're definitely putting their stamp on that Eastern Division too, so they avoid being upset. They needed that game to hang in there with Shreveport. Obviously, ACU needs to lose at some points for both of those teams to have a shot there in the East. Let's go out to the West, where we have Denver Tech and Camu. Well, Camu out here in the East, but Camu can't get anything done against a Western Division opponent. 1-4 Camu, they are effectively eliminated from Big 12 Conference Championship play. Not like we thought anything differently, but Denver Tech gets a nice win over them. 47-49, 49-27, I believe that was the score. Nebraska State 2-2 now, so they're hanging in there in the North as well. They get a win over Odessa State now. Odessa State 0-5. You got to think that all of the accusations from Jimmy Brown, former running back from the program, accusing Braxton Austin, Jeff Henderson, Brock Musselman, accusing the program of betting and betting on recruits and doing a lot of shady things with Vicente Galarza. If you guys haven't been following the case, go follow at Tom Roden on Twitter. Go to the description here and you can follow the story that's being broke on Twitter about these programs kind of getting a little shady going on. So maybe the Odessa State thing has a little distractions going on with the program right now. They're 0-5, right? So if Braxton Austin doesn't turn this thing around, he could be out of a job after year 8. So there are the games for week 11, guys. You saw what we were going to show. These are going to be all simulated. So week 11 is going to be all simulation. Just kind of we can kind of get through the season a little faster. Obviously, Ardmore and Amarillo would be a primetime matchup in most seasons, but Ardmore loses another little close one here, 38-35. We could have upset the number 2 team in the nation, but it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't meant to be. Justin Davis shred us apart, 328, 3 touchdowns. Jerome Wood had a pretty decent game, in my opinion. Darnell Savage, 7 catches, 146 and a score. Our offense it's there, but our defense is not. Our defense is not. It's what's really been hurting us this entire year. So we got to figure it out, or else we're not going to get to a bowl game. We could go 6-7 and not make it to a bowl game. So kind of a sucky situation here for Ardmore in simulation this season. But Shreveport, on the other side, gets a nice victory over Uba. And again, the quarterback struggles for Uba. Again, they only had 273 yards of total offense. Like in college, that's terrible. That's terrible. Chad Masters, 6 of 23. 2 touchdowns, though, so no turnovers, but 26%? Are you joking? Are you joking right now? What's going on, Chad? What's happening? What's happening, my dude? But they just couldn't stop the running game, it looks like. We had David Brown for Shreveport. We'll see his numbers there. 23 carries, 137, and 3 scores of 5.9 average. So, I mean, that's hard to stop, man. Uba is a dumpster fire right now. It's just not working out for him, guys. It's not working out. But here's an interesting matchup. So Odessa State and Denver Tech. Odessa State barely with a loss. Only lost by a touchdown. 41-34. Denver Tech barely holds on, man. Barely holds on. But it was a shootout. 582 yards to 531. But 3 turnovers. 3. Count them. 1, 2, 3. 3 turnovers for Odessa State. Brandon Archie was awesome, other than the 3 picks. 480 yards against Denver Tech's defense. That's tough to do, but ultimately, Denver Tech's defense won out with the 3 picks. No telling how many of those that they converted into points, but they got the job done. You can see I accidentally almost saved it there. So we're just going to go ahead and simulate Midland State and McAllen. And here you go. Midland State beats McAllen. Again, another offensive shootout there. 59-49 is your final score. Midland's offense, they're the number 1 team in the nation, believe it or not. So between them and Amarillo, we got 2 number 1 and number 2 teams. Top 5 teams, guys. Big 12 is lit, man. Big 12 is where it's at. But Claude Gray was the man of the hour here. 412 yards. Also had a lot of carries for a quarterback. 11 carries on the day. Jarvis Humphrey had 4 touchdowns to try to hang with Midland State, but they still couldn't do it. So McAllen now has 4 losses in conference. They're effectively out of it too. This is a big game for Little Rock and ACU. Remember, we needed to see, if you're a Shreveport fan, you need ACU to lose. And Little Rock gets it done in simulation. 48-45 is your final score. Little Rock beats ACU. Now, ACU with 2 losses in conference, Little Rock with 2 losses in conference, Shreveport 2 losses in conference. You have a weird little 3-way tie that's going on here right now. Keep in mind, the very last game of the season is Little Rock and Shreveport. Little Rock and Shreveport will be the last game of the season. That might mean something, but we got a long way to go to figure that out. But LaQuinton Evans, again, is just a monster. 6 touchdowns. 6 touchdowns on the day for LaQuinton Evans. I mean, what else is there to say, man? He's insane. He's nuts in simulation. But good win for Little Rock. Not so good loss for ACU. Let's take a look at the next game here up on your screen. We got Nebraska State, 641 yards and a turnover battle. 4 turnovers for Camu. I think 2 or 3 turnovers for Nebraska State. Crazy. But look at the receiving yards. I mean, Nebraska State's offense came to play, guys. They came out, they balled out, they got a nice win. Now they moved to 3-2 in conference. So they're going to need Midland State, they're going to need Amarillo to get some losses in there mixed in the next 3 weeks. So week 12, 13, 14, they're going to need some losses. Midland State takes on Nebraska State, so that's going to be a big game for them, for Nebraska State, if they want to catch Midland State. Denver Tech and Amarillo, that's going to be a big game as well for Prairie Dog Nation. Nebraska State's going to need Denver Tech to beat Amarillo. That's how it's going to. That's the only way that they're going to be able to catch them, right? Plus, Amarillo takes on Nebraska State at some point later on in the year. So a lot of craziness that's going to end up happening here at the end of this video. I can promise you that. But I don't want to get too in the weeds with, the what-if scenarios here, because there's a lot of things left to happen. We'll just figure it out on the football field, right? The virtual football field. The pixel men will end up deciding how this whole thing's going to go down. So let's take us into Week 12 action. Amarillo, Denver Tech. Again, another big matchup, like I talked about, for a lot of teams here out in the West Division. This game means a lot. There's a lot hanging in the balance with that division. Even though Amarillo's undefeated, a trickle-down effect could happen if they end up losing this game. All right, Denver Tech already up on Amarillo 7-0, and Justin Davis has been not as good as he was last season. I'll just come out and say it. You would have thought that he would have taken the next step this year, but that has not been the case. At the end of the year, he might be putting up a lot more yards based on this Amarillo offense, but with turnovers, touchdowns, I feel like he's taking a little bit of a backseat. But that was actually a pretty nice throw to his favorite receiver this year, Ed Moss. So really good turn and catch for Ed Moss, and that's a really pretty throw too to Nathan Hearn. Down the sidelines, a little flip right over top of the defenders. You gotta love that. In first and goal situation, Justin Davis gets in for the score. Number 5 quarterback, and he's been actually in the news as well with Tom Roden's tweets. He's been in the news too as somebody who might know a little bit of information on the case with Jimmy Brown and Odessa State and Vicente Galarza. He's still up for questioning, and that's going to be something that I know that might be in the back of his mind. That might be why he's not playing too well this season. But as you guys saw, big-time touchdown, though, for Amarillo, the number 2 team in the nation. They're making their presence felt here on number 5, Denver Tech, 21-7. But that doesn't mean Denver Tech is done. They're never done. They're like a cockroach. You just can't kill them. You can't kill them, man. They just keep coming back for more. 21-7, touchdown, Blake Berry. And he just bowls over the defender like he wasn't even touched. He's got a force field around him or something. 21-14. Mid part of the third quarter, and Justin Davis with the blocks, and he shoved a tackler off, and then, oh, what a block! Davis off to the races. He gets stopped at about the 3-yard line. Second down and goal, and this is an easy touchdown. Look at the push by Amarillo's offensive line. Chris Evans gets in for the score. Mid-part third quarter. It's a 14-point game, but just like we talked about, Denver Tech is never dead. They're never dead. You feel like you put a nail in the coffin for them, but they just always come back swinging. They come back swinging even harder, man. Hank Fa'amona with a touchdown. They get that touchdown back, guys. They get 7 points back. It is 28-21. Amarillo will end up kicking a field goal on their next possession, but Andre Brandt says it doesn't matter. We're not dead yet. We're only down by 10. We can get a big-time score here and bring us all the way back. He's going to bust off some more tackles. He gets it to 19 yards on the play. He's over 138 yards right now on the ground is Andre Brandt, but he's going to get a touchdown here from inside the 5. Denver Tech crawls all the way back. They're only down 3 right now. 3rd down and 12, and what a play to cover up the screen. Chris Evans is only going to get a 1-yard reception. Field goal attempt for Amarillo. It's a long one, but he's going to bang it home. Now Amarillo's up 6. They're up by 6 points. A touchdown and then an extra point could win the game for Denver Tech, depending on how much time is left on the clock. Guys, Denver Tech could beat Amarillo. This is the dream scenario if you're a Nebraska State fan. If you are a Prairie Dog Nation guy, this could be your lucky game here. 3rd down and 2 after a spike. Big situation for the Denver Tech rush. Oh man, you gotta come in there and you gotta challenge Andre Brandt. You can't just let him waltz right in. 29 seconds, 1st and goal, and 1 timeout to the end zone. It is gonna be batted down. It was caught in the end zone, but what a play by the Amarillo defender to knock it out of the receiver's hands. That would have been a touchdown, and then this one as well. Dropped in the end zone. 3rd and goal. Brandt's trying to run for it. He's going to get stopped. It's 4th down and goal. They won't call a timeout. They're just going to hustle back to the line. And with 12 seconds left, I would be calling a timeout here. Try to draw something up. But 4th and goal, they go short. They go short. And it's dropped by Blake Berry. I don't know what that play call was, man. I think they might have thought that Amarillo was going to play the end zone a little bit more. They're just going to back up and maybe make a catch and make a run for it, make a yard after the catch move. But Amarillo survives. They survive. Denver Tech was making a push, man. They were making a push to come back and win that game. Like I said, a touchdown and a field goal would have won in the whole thing. So, man, that was a great game. Great job by Amarillo to stave off that comeback by Denver Tech. So, unfortunately, Amarillo is still in the driver's seat for the West. If you guys were rooting for Gansu, you might be out of luck. Ardmore loses to Shreveport 16-13, and this one was a defensive struggle. And what I mean by that is it's an offensive struggle. It was a defensive great game. It's just a slugfest out there. Jerome Wood, an interception. at 166 yards on 24 attempts. And Ardmore, again, they lose. So, in simulation, this is just not the team. This is not the team. This is not where the program has been, where we have known this program to be. It's actually been their worst season in the entire series, actually. So, Ardmore on a little bit of a rebuild. Hate to say it. But we saw this game. Denver Tech loses to Amarillo. They are now 10-0, 6-0 in conference. But that doesn't mean Denver Tech didn't give them a game. That's for sure. Nebraska State, though, in simulation, they beat Midland State. So what they needed to have happen was Amarillo to lose, Denver Tech to win, and then for them to beat Midland State here, to kind of have chaos happen. So half of what they needed to have happen happened. So unfortunately for Nebraska State, they did what they had to do, but hopefully they were actually rooting for Denver Tech and they didn't get it done. So another upset for Nebraska State. They seem to always do it against Midland State, and this one went to overtime too. And it seems like every time that these two teams play off against each other, it's always just this instant classic type of situation. So obviously with Midland State's losing, they drop down to number 5, and it just again gives Amarillo a spot in the driver's seat in the Big 12 West. Now this game here between two top 10 teams, Midland State and Denver Tech. Denver Tech's not necessarily out of it either. You know, they can still have some crazy things happening as well. So each team's got to play well. They got to go for the W here. It's not like you can rest your starters or something, or it's not like you can, play your younger guys if you're Denver Tech thinking that this is over. You're not mathematically out of it yet. So you gotta put your best foot forward in these next few weeks and then hope that you get a little help as well. But when you got this team staring you down, Midland State, you can get the W here at home, and it puts Midland State in a little bit of a bind here. But so far, it's Denver Tech and Blake Berry getting on the board again at 14-7 lead now. A touchdown for Denver Tech. They get the ball back here to start the second quarter. Little flip, and it's going to be picked off at about the 45-yard line. And Andre Brandt can't make those mistakes, not with the lead. You got to play a little conservatively. I know you want to be aggressive. But you got to play a little bit conservatively. Don't be challenging Midland State's really good defensive backfield. This is one of their strengths, guys. So both teams will end up trading field goals here at the end of the second quarter. And at the half, it is 17-13. Let's start off the third quarter with a little flip. That's the type of throw that he was looking for off the interception, but this time, this one works out perfectly. Andre Brandt with a touchdown. Denver Tech goes up by 11, 24-13. Midland State with B.J. Brooks. They're going to get into the end zone at 24-20. Now, they might go for 2 here, so let's see what happens here. So they do score the touchdown. They'll kick the extra point, though, to go down by 4. Third down and goal, and Andre Brandt can't get into the end zone. He's actually going to take a back seat. He's going to go backwards. They'll kick a field goal up and good, though. 27-20. Claude Gray using his legs. Going to get 16 here. Third down and 2. Fourth quarter, less than a minute left. And Andre Brandt, he was almost taken down. Andre Brandt has got room. He's got 2 guys to beat, but he's going to be pushed out of bounds at about the, what would that be? About the 15, 16-yard line? He ended up fumbling the football, but it does go out of bounds. So third down and 9. Claude Gray, he's going to get only 2. Fourth down and 7, 28 seconds, 1 timeout. Andre Brandt goes to the end zone, and it's going to be a turnover. It's going to be dropped by the defender. Oh, man, you got to lead your receiver a little bit more to the right side. Not a good throw by Claude Gray, and Denver Tech now back-to-back losses. They lose to Nebraska State. They lose to Denver Tech on the road. It's not looking good for Midland State right now. It's not looking good for them. So they really have to hope now with Amarillo having no losses right now, as we see an interception by Justin Davis. Amarillo has no losses, right? Midland State has 2. They need Nebraska State to beat Amarillo here tonight in order to have a shot, to keep themselves alive in that Western Division. But right now, it's been going back and forth. back and forth we go. So 2 straight interceptions by both quarterbacks, and Amarillo's only going to get a field goal off that turnover. Meanwhile, Nebraska State gives up another couple big plays to Amarillo, and they're going to get a touchdown here, making it 10-3. Jack Danger with a nice defensive play. Now 3rd down and goal. Justin Davis gets good blocking, and he's going to get himself into the end zone as well. 17-3, Nebraska State back on their heels now. 2nd and 7. Shane Booth make a good throw to the sideline. That's Albert Woods for 14. 1st down and goal. They can get back in it with a touchdown, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So Lance McCoy gets a nice score here to get Gansu back into the game. 17-10. Boots fires it deep to Seamus O'Regan. He's been a great player ever since he came here. And Seamus gets another big play for him and notches that one in his belt as a Gansu or a Nebraska State legend. Meanwhile, Amarillo, at the end of the half, they can't kick a field goal up, and it's a tie game, and it's going to go the other way. Nebraska State with a pick 6. Justin Davis, what are you doing? Bodie Ungermeyer with the pick 6 at the start of the 3rd quarter, and Brock Musselman's like, dude, JD, what the heck are you doing? But they will get another touchdown here. They get that one back, so they get the mistake back. Justin Davis, guys, has 3 interceptions tonight. Shane Booth going to get dropped for 6 yards here on Nebraska State's next possession. Let's jump forward here late 3rd quarter in a tie game. This pass completed. 1st down, Ed Moss. Dude, this guy with the no gloves, man. I love Ed Moss. Like, he is constantly making plays for Amarillo, especially when he's got to catch it short, turn it upfield, and make a play. Amarillo will end up getting 3 points here, but Shane Booth, he's got blocking in front. He's only got 1 man to beat. It's trailing him, but he doesn't have the speed to get to the next level. Look at the blocking here, right? He's got the short burst going on, but he couldn't outrun the Amarillo defender. Big time play. Start of the 4th quarter. We flip sides. Albert Woods, the running back, gets in for a score. It is 31-27. Gansu. Oh, and it's going to be a drop pass. He dropped it. Justin Davis and Amarillo's offense can't convert. Nebraska State has a chance here, but they're not going to be able to pick up a first. Amarillo end up calling a timeout here. 4-point difference. 3rd down and 18 to go. Ed Moss down the sidelines. He busts off 1 tackler. They're going to get to the 15. 1st and goal, less than 50 seconds. Justin Davis into the end zone. Touchdown. Amarillo. They now take the lead by a field goal. 34-31. 41 seconds. Shane Booth going to get dropped for a sack. They'll call a timeout with 39 seconds. 3rd down and 2. Pass completed. Short. 1st down, Nebraska State. 28 seconds with 1 timeout left. He's going to fire it deep. What a catch by Daniel Bryant. 31 yards. The diving grab. That's going to be a play. That's going to be a big play for this team if they can get a score. Oh my goodness. Nebraska State has a chance to take the lead. 2nd and 10 after this incompletion. A touchdown will put Nebraska State up on top. A field goal with a tie. 2nd and 10. 7 seconds drops now to 6-5. They took 2 seconds off the clock. Field goal will be up, and it looks a little... It looks short. It looked like it was going short, but Nebraska State hangs on. What a diving catch to put him in the position to tie the ball game. So Gansu fires it down to the 9. No, incomplete. Incomplete. It looked like he made the catch. Incomplete. And then we were talking about the field goal being short to tie the game. This one is short to get 3 in overtime. Ed Moss for 19. And Justin Davis gets into the end zone for the game-winning touchdown. In overtime, Justin Davis leads his troops in a battle with the Prairie Dogs. Armadillos get the win. And man, oh man, what a game that was, guys. What a game that was. Maybe one of the best ones that we've seen so far in year 8. It's definitely not gonna beat Midland State and Odessa State that we saw last week for sure. That was one of the best games I've ever seen. CPU versus CPU, but that one was definitely up there. That one had a lot of ups and down moments for both teams. So unfortunately for Nebraska State, they're effectively eliminated from the Big 12 Team Builder Championship game now, with a couple losses now in Big 12 conference play. So they're effectively eliminated now. But ACU hangs on against Camu. They only still have 2 losses in conference, so they're still kind of hanging in there with Little Rock and Shreveport. We saw a loss from UBA, 27-26. Odessa State barely hung on to a very bad offensive team in Broken Arrow. But we saw Lucas Rivers, we saw Derek Paul Jackson over 100 yards each. So really good output for ACU. 27-20 game, you saw this one. Midland now has 2 losses. Denver Tech now with 2 losses. So those two are tied in the Big 12 West. But with an Amarillo win now, it effectively eliminates both those teams from contention now for the Big 12 Team Builder Championship game. So Week 14 is the last game. It's the last week. And with 2 losses each for each program, that's it. So Amarillo is crowned the Big 12 West champions. They will be facing off someone from the East. We're not sure who it's going to be yet. It could be Shreveport. It could be Little Rock. It could be ACU. So there's some tiebreakers that are going on there, and we'll take a look at what's going to happen there at the very last game of the gameplay that we got here today. So we got Week 13 simulations here. We've got Week 14 on tap, and I'll explain to you guys some of the tiebreakers as we look at that. But Shreveport here with a nice win over McAllen. They now moved to 1-6. They're 4-7. They're not making a bowl game. They're not making a bowl game. It's not going to happen. But Little Rock destroys Ardmore 59-33. Again, the Quinton Evans, Sim God monster. Ardmore's defense, not good. Not good. 715 yards. And even a turnover battle. So we forced 3 turnovers on LeQuinton Evans, right? 2 interceptions. We'll have to see who got the fumble, but dudes, 715 yards? Are you kidding me right now? Thunderwolves, what's going on? What's going on? We're going to be out of the top 25 after this. I guarantee it. But it was a shootout in some senses. I mean, Jerome Wood over 350, 3 scores, 2 interceptions, 55. He's a freshman, right? So there's going to be some growing pains there. But our defense is just not. It's just not around, man. It doesn't exist this season. 488 yards for LeQuinton Evans on 7 touchdowns. What is this guy? He's insane. Look at all the touchdowns through the air. 2 touchdowns for Parker, 2 for Lambert, 2 for Bonds, and 1 for Kaplan. Like, how do you beat this team? How do you beat Little Rock, right? Amarillo, as we talked about, has won the Big 12 Western Division, but Nebraska State made a game out of it. They could have held on, right? They could have made some things happen, some goofy things happen, but you know, they would have been eliminated last week. They would have been eliminated last week. With only 2 weeks left, right? So actually Amarillo needed to lose. Yeah, Amarillo needed to lose this week. They needed to lose next week. Yeah, some crazy stuff that would have happened in a Week 13, Week 12, Week 14. So, yeah, some really crazy times here in the Big 12. But as we look at Week 14, Amarillo plays Midland State. That game would have meant a little bit more had Midland State not lost to Nebraska State. If Nebraska State beats Amarillo in Week 13, that game means a little bit more. But the game that we're going to be looking at here is Shreveport and Little Rock, both with 2 losses in conference, and then Broken Arrow ACU with 2 losses in conference. So all 3 of these teams are in the Eastern Division, right? So we know who won the West. It's Amarillo. But this game is basically for the right to play in the Big 12 championship game against Amarillo, right? So Shreveport, as we saw in the very first game of today's action, Shreveport loses to ACU, right? So in this game, if Shreveport beats Little Rock, they're going to need ACU to lose against Broken Arrow in order to get in. Not likely. So if Shreveport wins, ACU wins, ACU is going to be the representative in the East. So I'll just set it up there. Shreveport wins this game, ACU wins, ACU's in. If Shreveport wins this game and ACU loses, Shreveport isn't. If Little Rock beats Shreveport, no matter what ACU does, Little Rock is in this game, is in the Big 12 championship game. Okay? That's how that's all going to work out. Because a lot of crazy things have happened. Little Rock beat ACU in the rivalry game that we saw in the simulation. So they have the tiebreaker between ACU. Yeah, I know, kind of confusing there, but if you hung with me a little bit here, Shreveport wins, it helps them. But they're still going to need ACU to lose. So they're not totally out of it yet, but they control their own destiny, and that's going to help. This is going to help. A touchdown. How did the defensive end, Desi Johnson, dude, this guy has got to be an NFL prospect. He has to be. Look at this big dude. He busts off the tackle. He busts off the tackle, right? The left tackle. He busts him off, and then gets a touchdown here off of a fumble recovery. He's got enough speed to take it all the way back. So touchdown, Shreveport. Look at Little Rock, though. 3 turnovers today. Paris Mack with a sideline interception. So, again, Shreveport's giving themselves more opportunities here against Little Rock. A rainy Little Rock. Through the mud and the muck. Little Rock, though, with LaQuinton Evans. 5 seconds left to go here. Field goal is up. In the rainy conditions, it's going to be no good. Tie ball game. 7 versus 9. 2 top 10 teams for the right to play Amarillo in the Big 12 Team Builder Championship game. Yeah, Shreveport wins. They're going to need ACU to lose. That's the only way that Shreveport can get in. Little Rock wins this thing, they're basically in. So, yeah, you gotta control your own destiny here. JT Mooney with a nice catch, going to get a first down, and then 3rd and goal, Rodney Jones gets the touchdown from the 1-yard line. So Shotgun Smith puts Shreveport back on top here. Ranger Green takes some contact, but he's going to get into the end zone. Touchdown, Little Rock, late 3rd quarter. Shreveport, can you make something happen here? No. First down, Ranger Green, after an 11-yard run. 2nd and goal. Jack Mitchell with some good blocking in front. He goes untouched. Oh, man, Shreveport. You're letting this one slip away from you, I think. Touchdown, Little Rock, 24-17. Late 4th quarter, guys. 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go, and it's going to be a sack. Shotgun Smith goes down. 3rd and 15 situation. You're going to need a big play here. Just get some positive yardage. That's all you need, right? Shotgun Smith is going to go down. A 9-yard sack. Little Rock forces a 4th down and 25, and they're going to go under center. They're going to go under center with a little quick throw. I don't know what that call is. Coach LaDuca, you have built this program into something really, really special, and you're going to lose the game on that? Not good, man. Not good, but you can look for a dagger here if you're Little Rock. And Jack Mitchell with blocking in front. He's going to get the touchdown, 23 yards. And Little Rock is going to win this game and advance to the Big 12 championship game, right? Is it done? Not quite yet. Touchdown, Shreveport. Brian Tate with the big-time 4-vert strike. He's going to get a touchdown. 8 seconds left, guys. 8 seconds. Shreveport's going to have to kick a onside kick and convert this thing and maybe get a fumble here. Not going to happen. And your Big 12 champion from the East Division is Little Rock. Who saw this coming? Not me. I didn't see this coming. I thought LaQuinton Evans was just, again, daily reminder, LaQuinton Evans sucks. I thought that was going to carry over this season. But Little Rock went on a late season push to get to this point. So ACU in simulation, as you guys see up on the board here, 38-14 beats Broken Arrow. So again, if Shreveport won, had Shreveport won the game, they would have needed ACU to lose, and as you know, odds were not likely that ACU was going to lose to UBA, and we saw it here. 38 points against UBA. moves them down to 1-6 in conference play, 5-6 overall. They're not going to go to a bowl game this season. And AC would have won the game anyway, so they would have advanced. They would have won and advanced to the Big 12 Team Builder Championship game. Now, Midland State actually comes in and upsets Amarillo as well, 45-31. So that game, again, would have meant a little bit more had Nebraska State beaten Amarillo last week in week 13 that you guys watched. It was really, really close. That game that went to overtime. Had Gansu beaten Amarillo, both teams here, Midland State and Amarillo, would have had one loss in conference. And Midland State would have won the tiebreaker here. So it would have been Midland State and Little Rock. Crazy, right? Just crazy how the last few weeks of the season, it always comes down to that type of those little scenarios in the Big 12. So your Big 12 championship game will be Little Rock versus Amarillo here in year number 8. So finally we get a little something different, right? We get a little something different for you guys that are watching this series that have been enjoying it. But unfortunately for Shreveport, 3 losses in conference. Just a good team this season. Like I mentioned, I think in our preview, in our season previews, I really thought that Shreveport was going to be a good team again, but I felt like they were going to lose a step a little bit, and it showed out this season, right? Something was just a little bit off about them this season compared to the last 2 Sugar Bowl appearances. Nebraska State, another conference loss, moves to 4-4. Denver Tech wins, barely though. So Nebraska State actually playing some really good football here late. And if we actually did a year number 9 simulation, I would assume that Nebraska State's going to really vault and really take the next step, right? So they barely lose to Denver Tech. But as we see here, Ardmore moves to 6-6. We're probably going to go to a bowl game, but not a high-profile bowl game like we're used to. We lose to McAllen, of all teams. Yeah, we lost to McAllen. 2 interceptions for Jerome Wood, 285. And Jarvis Humphrey with 374 on our defense. We just can't stop anybody, man. We have a leak. We got a leak, man. Our defense is really leaky. We gotta plug that defense up, man. We gotta get it fixed for next season if we have one. But not good. Not good for Ardmore. Odessa State finally gets a win. So they won last week against Uba. Now they beat Camu. It's like, pat yourselves on the back. You got 2 straight wins, but unfortunately at 5-7, you're not likely to go to a bowl game either. And at 2-6 in conference, Braxton Austin's probably getting fired, man. He's probably gone. 473 for Archie. 6 touchdowns, though. That's the quarterback of the future, in my opinion, is Brandon Archie. Now, that's not saying much. You're playing against Camu, right? Camu's defense is also very leaky, just like Ardmore's defense, but... yeah, Kentrell Huggins, 9 for 68, a score. Harold Reed Jr., McDaniel. So, I mean, Anthony Wilkerson took a next step this season, I feel like. He was a lot better than he was in his freshman year last year, but again, just not a good season for Camu. They're not going to be bowling. So there's your conference standings, guys. Little Rock wins the Eastern region, or the Eastern division, I should say, with 2 losses. Amarillo lost their very last week against Midland State, so that is the lone blemish on their resume here. So they actually dropped from number 1 team in the nation all the way down to 6 at 7-1. There's your coaches poll for top 25. Texas, Oklahoma. Texas getting 60 votes behind the arm of custom prospect Dallas Austin. So yes, he's related to the Austin brothers and the Austin family. Paris, Colby, Odessa Austin. Believe it or not, there's a guy named Odessa Austin. Braxton Austin. Yeah, he's related to him. So go figure. Texas is back as the number 1 team in the nation, getting 60 votes to be that number 1 team in the nation. I believe, and he's in the Heisman race as well, guys, but look at all of our Heisman race guys. We've got Dextrarius Washington, a running back from Arkansas State. This guy must have been a rename, or he must have been a custom prospect, because an Arkansas State running back getting 97 overall, that's interesting, man. That's really interesting. So if you're still out there, if you were the guy that submitted that player, your guys in the Heisman watch, actually all of our players that we've had an input on, had a fingerprint on, are in the Heisman race. So Claude Gray, he's currently up on top, but I don't think he's going to win it because we've got LaQuinton Evans and Justin Davis, I should say, playing in the Big 12 championship game, the very last game of the Big 12 here. really fighting for that Heisman Trophy. So we'll have to see what happens here between these two quarterbacks, Davis and Evans, but it should be a shootout. I'm actually thinking about live streaming this game because, like I said, you know, once we get to bowl season, it's going to go, we're going to try to throw every single bowl game into one video plus the national championship game if we get there. I don't think that with Little Rock or an Amarillo victory that we're going to get to a natty, but it could happen. Crazier things have happened in this freaking game for sure. So you got to love NCAA 14, am I right? So guys, that is it. Leave a like if you like this thing. Let me know in the comment section who you have in the Big 12 title game. Is it Little Rock or Amarillo? And are you interested in this game being live streamed or just a regular upload? Guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great rest of your weekend. As always, thank you for watching, and peace.